All right, Reid. I think it's rolling around time here, so we got to get started. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Hi, folks. My name is Whaley. I am the co-founder of Teal. Today, I'm joined again by my partner Reid, who is also a co-founder and our CIO. How you doing today, Reid?
Doing really well. How about you?
Fantastic. It's that time of the month again for our tips and tricks on Microsoft 365 versus our tips and tricks on Copilot, which will be happening in a couple of weeks. But we always promise to keep this short. Today we're going to be real brief. We have a few things that we wanted to show. So let's jump right in. Why don't you start sharing your screen and we'll talk about enabling facilitator on Teams and calendar invites and all that good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to jump. You can see my screen now?
I can see it. Thank you for
Okay,
asking.
cool. All right. So the first thing we'll show is the facilitator agent in Teams. And this is a kind of a new feature that is generally available now. You do need a Copilot license. So someone in your meeting needs the Copilot license. And really, the person that is generating the invite should have the Copilot license to add the facilitator. So what I'm going to do is go into my calendar, and this will all make sense here in a second.
So to be
I'm
clear, only one person needs the license, and that person,
correct.
your recommendation is the person that's facilitating the meeting or sending the invite.
Yep,
Got it.
exactly. So
Thanks.
I'm in Teams, and remember from our last tips and tricks, if you're creating a Teams meeting, it's a great idea to use the Teams calendar interface to do that because it's the most full featured. Microsoft is adding parity between Outlook and Teams for calendar, but this is the best way to do it. So we'll just call it test meeting. I'm going to invite you, and then I'm going to turn on Teams meeting. And after a second here, we're going to see facilitator is off, and we can turn on the facilitator. And then that'll change. So now it says facilitator is on. If I scroll down a little bit, normally we would put our meeting agenda in the description of the meeting. This is the description. Um, we want to go down here to add an agenda. And when we add an agenda, it's going to create a loop component that's a collaborative agenda that your meeting participants can see before the meeting and update before and during the meeting. So I'll just say, let's talk about tips. Let's talk about tricks. Let's talk about Copilot. So 3 topics for our meeting. And when I send this now, you're going to get a calendar invite. You'll be able to join it. We're not actually going to join it now. But since I've turned on that facilitator for the meeting, as we're talking during the meeting, making decisions, talking about tips and tricks ideas, the meeting facilitator agent is going to start typing in notes during the meeting for us, like it's a participant in the meeting. And in fact, the meeting facilitator can even collaborate with us in the chat. And we can't show that all today, but maybe during a Copilot tips and tricks, we'll show that because that's pretty cool. But I wanted to highlight how you turn this on because this question has come up a lot.
So a couple questions from me, Mr. Questioner.
Sure.
Um, one is not directly related, but I'm going to save that. So are you going to hit send on this?
Yeah, I'll hit send. So this is at 11 a.m.
So
There it is.
we
Test
promise
meeting.
to keep this to 20 minutes, and maybe it we might lose some because I have a lot of questions. So if I go into that and
Yeah.
I go into so on my side, which I'm not sharing my screen, I can see everything you just did, and I can
Yep.
add a topic.
Yeah. So if I go back to my calendar, I'm going to open up.
So you should theoretically be able to see a meeting agenda that I just added. I just added an agenda item.
Yep. So I'm going to scroll down here. I see
Copilot
you're in
demo.
there.
Yep.
Copilot
Add a
demo.
Copilot demo.
Yep.
So that wasn't really a question. I guess it was, how do I do that?
Hmm.
The other question I had, which isn't directly related, it goes back to the first statement you made, which is something we've said a lot about using the calendar within Teams rather than the Outlook calendar.
Yeah.
The question that came up was can you still see other people's calendars within the Teams calendar? So whenever I go to make a meeting, I go into my Outlook calendar and I turn on Reid's calendar, I turn on Jill's calendar, and I see who's available. So it works the same way. So that is there's already parity there.
Yeah. They've added a lot of overlap of features that used to just be in Outlook. They brought those into Teams. So, yep.
All right. So I should just be using my Teams calendar.
It's my preference because then you can go in and change all the options of your meeting right away.
Yeah.
That's my preference.
Well, that's awesome. We should, so really, for the facilitator, if somebody has a Copilot license, is there a reason you wouldn't turn it on? Like, why? I mean, obviously, if you don't want a recording, but
I
why
can't
wouldn't you
really
turn it on?
I can't really think of one. The difference would be if I'm the organizer of the meeting and I don't enable the facilitator immediately, when we join the meeting later, someone has to remember to turn it on. So
Oh,
I
so you
like,
can turn it on live.
yeah, you can turn it on live. Yeah. My preference, just like setting up meeting recording, is set up the meeting the way you want it to run so that when you join the meeting later, you don't have to remember to do a bunch of stuff. Set the
That is
meeting to
awesome.
record, set the facilitator to join. It's just less to remember to do because inevitably we'll forget to record a meeting and then we will wish it was recorded.
Yeah, to me, we should, I mean, I can't think of a reason we wouldn't use this tool. I mean, to take real-time notes and facilitate the meeting as the meeting's happening. But
Yeah. It's just
um,
hard to show that when we're in Zoom.
yeah, and I
It's
thought
gotta
we'd
be
only
in
spend 2 minutes on it. We've already been like 5 minutes on, so let's move on to workflows.
yeah. Okay. So workflows are automations that can interact with Teams. And there's a couple of ways to get to it, but if you go into your left side panel here and click on View More Apps, you can see it'll show up in your recent app list, or I could search for it if I wanted to. But if I click Workflows and get back to the main workflow screen, you'll see that there are a bunch of templates that are available for workflows that can be triggered when something happens outside of Teams or triggered when something happens inside of Teams. So if I click on all templates, we can see a few of these. You'll notice the different icons in lower right corner signify what tool is involved in the workflow. So there's a lot of Copilot workflows, recap communications on a topic, automatically email reminders, and so on. This is really useful if you have maybe a SharePoint site and people are putting documents into that SharePoint site and you want your team to be aware of those documents being there without having to automatically go look for those documents. So I can say, uh, if I search for SharePoint here, um, send an email when a SharePoint list is created or send an email when a SharePoint list or file is updated. If I were to click on this, it lets me pick which of my SharePoint sites, which of my SharePoint sites do I want to pick from, and then what library do I want to pick from, and then when I click save here, it's going to create this workflow for me. So you'll notice that this didn't actually have anything to do with Teams, right? Because not
Mhm.
every workflow has to do with Teams. But if I wanted to, I could have when a file is updated, it sends a message into a Teams channel. So I just wanted to show this. You want to think through like what are some things that happen that our team should be aware of, or maybe when we do something within our team chat, what should we trigger outside of our team? That's the power of workflows. And again, the way that you get to it is here on the left-hand side. You can click on the little three buttons and then search for workflows, and it's right there. So anyone in your organization can use workflows and create their
Go
own.
back to templates while you're finishing your comment.
Yeah. and create their own. So, do you have a question there?
No, I just wanted people to be able to sort of, while you were commenting, see the sorts of things that are pre-enabled,
Yep.
pre-built workflows.
The ones that I think are particularly interesting are these AI workflows. So these are going to use Microsoft Copilot. You're going to need a Copilot license to use these workflows. But for example, help me prepare for my day. If I click this, this can run every day of the week that I choose. It can pick I can pick a time when I want it to run and have it send a summary either to Teams or email. And really what it's going to do is it's going to use Copilot to take a look at the different events that I have on my calendar for that day and give me a little summary. The thing I don't like about this is I can't customize it. I can't customize the prompt of what it's looking at or what it excludes or what to focus on. It's fairly limited. But the idea behind the workflows is make it easy for anybody to set up workflows. And the back end of this is actually Microsoft Power Automate. So for those that are comfortable with doing some light development, some low code or no code development, they could actually modify these after they're created. But that's a webinar for a different day.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so let's move on. I think we want to talk about channel agents and teams, which is relatively new, and we're doing it live, so
Yeah,
there may be some issues when we show it, but
yeah.
it's
So
very cool. It's very cool.
yeah, this is a new feature that's in preview that's rolling out now. So when you're in a team, I'm in the marketing team, I'm in our general channel right now. I can go into the upper right corner under open agents and bots. And these are all the different things that I can add to this channel. And you'll see right at the top, there's add an agent to this channel. So when I click add, this is the doing it live part. Um, Microsoft is going to create an agent and give it access to this team so that anytime we converse in this channel, this agent will be able to interface with that conversation. So here it's popped up. We're a little bit lucky. It worked right out of the gate. But now it says, I'm part of this channel. You can send me some specific commands. The channel agent again requires one participant in the team to have a Copilot license, but it allows anyone in the team to converse with it. So not everyone has to have a Copilot license. And the agent will allow you to summarize the conversation over time and also perform some different actions over time. So we'll have to check back on this maybe the next couple of months and see some feedback from it.
But there was one in another channel that we were going to show, but not show everything, right?
Yeah,
Like backstage.
we can go into this guy. So I added it to our one-on-one team that we have where it's just you and me. And I was able to ask it, give us a recap of what's been discussed the last couple of weeks. Now I can't show it because there's a lot of sensitive information that we're discussing, but it gave me a nice summary and it cited the different points that it's making. Notice it took almost 2 minutes to do that. So I sent in that message and I expected a fast response, but it reasoned over the messages in the channel. And it gave me a really nice response. It just took a while. So pretty neat.
Yeah, that's really helpful, and we'll say more about it as we use a lot more because we're just starting to add this to
Yep.
our team's channels. But in our private channel, Reid and Gar's private channel, it's already provided a little bit of help. But
Yep.
that said, let's move on. We're running a little short here on time. In this chat panel that you wanted to show.
Yeah, so this is pretty cool, and it's been available for a while, but I recently rediscovered it. So here I'm in a one-on-one chat with you, and we share links and files all the time, right? And I'd have to scroll all the way back to find where these files and links are. But if I go into the upper right corner next to the more chat options here, and I can click on this in this chat. This is going to give me a listing of all of the different links and files that we've shared sorted by date. So recent, very quickly I can find, different links we've shared, different files that we've shared. I don't have to scroll back through all of the chat that we've had. So this
So
is
is there a keyword search there? I didn't quite catch that. Maybe on the
there's
right.
not there's not a keyword search here. You could filter, I guess, and that'll get you maybe the same. So if I filter on CMMC, yeah, now
There you go. Yeah.
there we go. Nice.
Yeah. So this is one of my biggest pet peeves is when I have to scroll through things to find things. So I'm glad you showed this because this is one of my biggest bottlenecks. In fact, you shared something this weekend I was looking for, but this morning by the time I had woken up, you had 17 other other DMs to
Yeah,
me.
Saturday,
Yeah,
yesterday,
yeah.
Friday. Yeah, yeah.
All right. So that's going to be very helpful for me. Last one I think we want to hit today because we're almost out of time, which is jump to date in OWA and just
Yeah, and
general filters.
this has been available for a little while too, and I just hadn't paid attention, but I thought it was useful. Here's my inbox. You can see I've got a couple of unread messages there, but you can jump to a particular date. I would scroll all the way
None
down
of those
for,
messages that are unread should be from Senator Whaley.
right. Yeah, none of them are right, exactly. But rather than scroll all the way down, I can click this jump to, and I can jump to yesterday, jump to last week, jump to last month. And here we go. I mean, it takes me back very, very easily. I can also filter by messages that maybe have calendar invites that I need to follow up on because I have this tendency of not accepting calendar invites. So this will help me get better at that over time.
You've been doing wonderfully lately, Reid. Wonderfully.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah,
that's
that's good too. Yeah.
that's an easy one. I guess I have one I'm not going to show, but I do have this rule that I've created that any email that comes in from Reid gets automatically opened and put in a special folder, so I make sure I review it. I hope you would do the same for me.
Oh, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll do that. Sort of like unsubscribe, but messages to you.
Unsubscribe. We want to, if you're watching this and you did not see the unsubscribe video, it has changed my life, and maybe we'll go over it again next time because it's really given me back time because I'm one of those very fast responders. I'm always looking between things, and so now they just go to an unsubscribe folder. But as a highlight, since we're done here today, Reid, one of the things I was going to foreshadow is next month we're going to be the marketing team is going to send out when they publicize this, send in your questions. So it's going to be sort of an ad hoc free for all question Microsoft tips and tricks where the attendees will be asking us questions. So if there's no questions, it'll be even shorter than it'll be less than 20 minutes. But that's it for today, Reid. If anybody has any questions, feel free to reach out to us at info@tealtech.com. Thanks for joining. We'll see you next month, or we'll see you on the Copilot one, which is just in a week or two.
That's right. Thanks a lot. See ya.
Thanks, Reid.